the pet games. Yes, it is true. We do have a new update where Squid Games has officially made it into Pet Simulator 99. But with the amount of issues a lot of players are having, it seems like everybody is resorting to grinding the last area. But what are some methods that you guys can take advantage of while you're in the last area to get tokens? Today we are going to be focusing not on the pet games mini games. Unfortunately with this one, it seems like there's a lot of issues going on with a lot of bots, a lot of exploiters, just in general. Yes, this is the best way to get tokens, but it's not worth the stress of consistently running into issues. Granted, Big Games is doing what they can right now in order to basically fix this. But however, I don't feel like grinding the pet games mini games all the time, so I eventually resort to just basically going into the last area and essentially grinding tokens. However, you do need to actively be in the last area to benefit from getting all of this. Not only that, you also need a ton of those boosts in order to basically get the most out of this. Unfortunately, these are relatively expensive, so keep that in mind. And the second thing is, you will not get gift bags by basically grinding here. The only upside is you will be able to get loot and your tokens at a relatively good rate. The nice part about this is, even though I only have 121 tokens added into this roster, I do have a 1% chance of at least winning a huge pet. And of course, a very minuscule chance of winning a Titanic. Now, obviously, everybody's main goal is to get the Titanic at the very end of the day. And as time progresses, more and more players are going to be playing the minigame and obviously getting tokens and gift bag. But for those that want to casually just grind, just as here shown, here are some methods that I basically came up last night and I tested thoroughly. So hopefully this helps you out. Now, this is completely recommended for people that do have a computer and are able to AFK grind this. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we end up showing you guys basically all of the clips that I ended up taking, now this was a span of at least 4 to 5 hours. Now we are going to be using 8 enchants. We have a magic orb, a bob orb book, explosives, 2 fireworks, a lightning, large taps, and of course this is discretional, is the super magnet. Now as you can tell, it tells you the threshold for absolutely everything, and now I love this area mainly because you'll be able to see absolutely everything at its maximum rate. So everything that I'm using right now is at its maximum capacity, meaning I don't need to go higher, but I also don't want it to go ahead and use the least amount. So 2 fireworks is mainly what I'll be using for this, and 2 different orb books, so that way it doesn't lose more input. Now the reason why I'm going this route is mainly because I felt at the time that when I used treasure hunter books, they didn't really do anything all that much. Now I usually speculate whether or not loot books actually do anything in the last area, and other books as well. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but I also decided to do a side-by-side of my main team and some small exclusive pets. It felt like the small exclusive pets were doing a lot more damage, way more faster, versus the Titanics and the huge pets that I was using last night. So I will be using this as a side-by-side, and you guys can be the judge of that. So let's go ahead and test this out with a small exclusive team. Remember, you can only use 15 pets in here, so you kind of have to pick your pets very wisely. So obviously we are going to be using hasty flags because this one obviously works based on previous events. Now, the only reason why, again, I do not use the loot books, mainly because I feel like they don't actually benefit me too much in this area, and it feels like they don't do that much. Obviously, I did test all of the other enchants in this area, and most of them do not activate. Whether that is the VFX not working or they actually don't work in here is up for speculation. However, I always input damage versus loot drops. And at the very end of the day, your boosts will end up working in here because there is a timer at the very left bottom. So let's go ahead and activate auto farm, and you can basically see that they actually do end up speeding up. Now, this is highly recommended at the very end of the day, especially if you want to go ahead and roam around the map. Obviously, this does cost Robux, so keep that in in mind if you choose to go that route, so remember that. And I also will be using auto tap to also help me break more breakables. These go hand in hand when it comes to any breakables that have any type of enchant that will help them break a bigger radius, meaning your lightning, your large taps. This will work amazing. So obviously, as you can tell, we are watching this in real time. I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up so you guys do not have to hear and basically watch this for the full 30-40 minutes that this is recorded for. But what if you have a full team of Huges and 3 Titanics, for example? This is my main team that I actually use for any type of grinding, stuff like that. Right now we do have auto farm disabled on this, and I'll go ahead and re-enable it, but you can kind of get an idea that you do move a little bit more slower without it. So we are officially here. We'll go ahead and test out this team, and again, you guys can go ahead and be the judge of this, because at the very end of the day, it felt like the other team moved a little bit more quickly and broke things a little bit more faster. So let's go ahead and let this go, and we'll see what happens at the very end. Okay, so obviously last night before heading to bed, I decided to make an executive decision to go ahead and use my small exclusive pets. I ended up entering 2,222 tokens, and honestly, I've been hearing a lot of people enter these tokens, but they're also not getting their prizes. I don't know if there's a massive delay on maybe perhaps the game giving out Huges or even Titanics for that matter. Then again, maybe there is that small percentage chance that we just didn't win the pet itself. Unless it's telling you that you won, maybe it could just be a bug. Until then, I would say if you think that there might be an issue, don't use your tokens right away. This might be a really good time to just hoard them until the very last minute before it goes away. However, keep in mind, this is just what I've been reading from what people have been saying in big games. So this is a really good time to just grind, especially if you're doing this for your clan or even for personal usage. Remember, at the very end of the day, we are not able to get gift bags from this event, at least from the last area. These are only obtainable if you go ahead and compete in the minigame. Again, keep in mind though, you are going to run into exploiters and the game just might be a little buggy. Though I would have a little bit patience with the developers because I would assume that this is probably something that they didn't catch on very early and is impossible to catch on once a game is published. So players are having issues getting their Huges. I was able to get a huge golden dominus from this event. So I don't know, like I said before, if this is just a coincidence that players are just not winning or if it's a genuine bug. But I was able to get a huge pet out of this, and I believe this was without the boost token thingies. So hopefully you guys have good luck on getting this, and hopefully you guys have a very good chance of getting the Titanic because holy moly, not gonna lie, that thing actually looks pretty sick with 188 in existence at barely 8 billion gems. We'll say 8 billion as an estimate because obviously when this event is over, this might go back up to 8 billion. And just in case if you guys are curious as to how much these do cost, we do have the regular boost token which gives you 2 times the amount for 258,000, though this will be a little bit more higher considering that the boost does help you out greatly. And the same thing goes with the ultra boost token. This at the the most I have been seeing sold for 25 million gems, and that is the common trend to see these at. You will see them at 22, 23, and honestly 25 million gems. So remember, at the very end of the day, if you are using these, it is highly recommended that you use it in bulk, and ultimately use your tokens when you are absolutely certain that is your entry. Your entry will be the only entry that you do get once you're done, and then you have to rinse and repeat that process again until you have enough. So hopefully you guys have really good luck, as I've said, and until then, I will see you guys all in the very next video. Okay, bye!